saving for your golden years with a Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Coming up in the news at 7. Mother of missing teacher appeals for daughter's safe return. 6 teenagers charged for St. Elizabeth break-ins on bail. Road crashes fueling concern in western parishes. And in sport, the English Premier League champions will be decided on Sunday. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition. It's Saturday, May 18. I'm TK Dawkins. Missing for nearly a week now, 29-year-old teacher Danielle Anglin's disappearance has left her family's world in pieces. Not only is the mystery of her disappearance weighing heavily on her family, but fear of the worst with each passing day is setting in. CVM News spoke with her worried mother today. Neika reports.
I was looking at clothes, but I know that is a red skirt and a kind of floral blouse because she only ironed that suit. It was hung up in her closet.
This mother trained up her child in the way of the word and has never gone a day without frequent contact with her until Monday when 29-year-old Danielle Anglin, a teacher, disappeared. She left her Hellshire residence for work hurriedly after declaring she was running late, but reportedly never got there. There being the St. Peter Claver Primary School, where she teaches grade 4 students.
Danielle don't have many friends that friendly. She have good friends. You know? Yes. A very kind child. But she went shopping with me on Saturday. Uptown, the Constant Spring area, and she bought 2 a shoe and a slipper for me, and she said this Monday that she was missing, after school she would have gone back up there to find, because many of the stores were closed, she would have gone back up there to find dresses for me and a watch to buy and a handbag.
Efforts to reach her phone have been futile as she says all calls went directly to voicemail. The former educator and Christian says she's been praying. However, fear has been rising with the son every day since.
Whoever had my child, please return my child to me. Touch not the Lord's anointed, now do his prophet no harm. You're going to be in serious trouble with Daniel's creator. If it's ransom you people want, just say it. But do not keep her there and punish her. I need my child. She is so precious to the family. Not only me and my husband alone, but to the entire family.
Initial reports suggested Danielle took a drive share, but her mother says that claim is unconfirmed as she walked to a nearby location from where she usually gets a taxi. The family is breaking more with each passing day and little to no updates.
They're taking it hard. The family abroad and the family in Jamaica, everyone said they cannot sleep well. Her elder brother just called a while ago and every minute call me.
Anyone with information on the whereabouts of the missing teacher is asked to contact the nearest police station or call 119. Neika Lewis, CVM News.
6 school-aged boys who have been charged for larceny and break-ins in St. Elizabeth have since been granted bail. This follows their detention after a targeted police raid in the parish in which several television sets were seized. Here again is Neika Lewis.
It's not the news many would want to hear, but when 6 teenage boys found themselves on the wrong side of the law, they quickly caught the attention of the St. Elizabeth Police.
Police can confirm that 6 teenage students were taken into custody last evening during a targeted operation. The ages of the students range from 13 to 16. They were taken in due to an ongoing investigation for housebreaking. 8 televisions were recovered at the premises where the raid was conducted. The investigation is still ongoing. At this time, the students are in our custody, and the representation has been made at the court to decide whether or not we grant them bail or to remand them.
The once peaceful parish has seen an increase in criminals due to migration, now trickling down to its youngest and most impressionable. However, Superintendent Minto says the police continue to maintain a close partnership with schools to root out and prevent deviance at the onset.
There's an active investigation ongoing. However, we will continue to provide the support to our schools. The Safe School program is very active in this parish. We have been going through a number of the schools, working with the deans of disciplines, the guidance counselors, and even social workers. And there are a number of incidents that have been taking the national airways over the last couple of weeks. We certainly will, from our division, provide our community safety and security officers to deploy them into our schools to assist with the behavioral issues and to support the schools with their own behavioral modification programs.
In the latest update, the officer explained the boys have been granted bail and released into their guardian's custody.
The boys in question were charged for housebreaking and larceny. They were granted bail in the sum of $200,000 each, and they were released in the care of their legal guardians.
Stakeholders have in recent months been expressing concern for the criminal and aggressive behaviors adopted by the nation's children since the pandemic. Neika Lewis, CVM News.
In less than 24 hours, 3 motor vehicle crashes occurred along different sections of the North Coast Highway between Trelawny and St. James. At least 1 person died and several others hospitalized with injuries. Renaldo Adams has this recap.
Despite constant pleas from the authorities, reckless driving remains widespread in Jamaica. The World Health Organization's 2021 study shows Jamaica's road fatality rate at 18 per 100,000 people, higher than the regional average of 14.1. The North Coast Highway is seemingly a major hotspot. In just a few hours, 2 crashes rocked St. James. At 4:45 on Friday, a deadly collision in Providence saw a white Nissan AD wagon split in half after colliding with a silver Mercedes-Benz SUV. The AD wagon driver, Gregory Gordon, of Gordon Crescent, Granville, St. James, died tragically. The Benz, likely a gift as there was a pink bow on the inside, left its driver injured and hospitalized. The same area has seen other tragedies, including the death of prominent lawyer George Thomas and a fatal crash last December that killed 3 children. Just a few hours later in the Rose Hall area, a non-fatal collision occurred around 1 p.m. 3 vehicles tangled when a white Nissan AD wagon rear-ended a pickup van and was subsequently struck from behind by another vehicle. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. And on the evening prior, at around 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, another fatal crash rattled the North Coast Highway. This time, the incident occurred in the vicinity of Duncan's Trelawny. That incident left 1 person seriously injured. Renaldo Adams, CVM News.
Massive changes are afoot following Thursday's meeting with members of the National Road Safety Council, PAHO, and the Prime Minister. The meeting, occasioned by the rising number of road fatalities and lawlessness on the nation's road, will see myriad changes to stem the carnage. Neika Lewis has more.
That the public accepts and appreciates that Jamaica can be accident-free. And that's not just aspirational. It is a very practical thing to strive for.
That's the conclusion arrived at by the Prime Minister, who chairs the National Road Safety Council. His remarks followed a closed-door meeting with stakeholders from PAHO, WHO, the Transport Minister and the NRSC Vice Chair Thursday. He revealed a variety of challenges, mainly behavioral, which he blames for the increasing carnage and injuries driven by crashes.
Jamaica does not have a riding culture that involves the wearing of helmets. It is a behavioral problem in as much as it is an enforcement problem. So what the government has done, we recognize the need for public education, and there are several private sector and NGO initiatives that the government supports in trying to create this public behavior and sentiment towards wearing helmets.
He also updated the nation on the 10,000 free helmet initiative for motorcyclists, who fall among the highest in road fatalities. Wholeness assures 2,000 have since been procured.
There would be no reason, no excuse for not wearing a helmet. Helmets save lives. And I think that needs to be reinforced. It's not fashionable, it's not cute, it's not hip, it's not cool not to ride without your helmet. In fact, I would go as far as to say it is stupid to ride without your helmet.
He highlighted other factors spurring frequent crashes that appeared endemic to the Jamaican populace.
If Jamaican drivers drove within the speed limit. In the last few days where we've had these terrible accidents, one of the major causes identified is that the drivers were driving above the speed limit. They were speeding. So speeding is another critical variable in these crashes. And in discussing it with the police and the other stakeholders, enforcement is critical here.
A feat for which he lauded the police, especially since the e-ticketing rollout. The Prime Minister also agreed to using the funds from tickets paid to help promote its road safety awareness. Other remedial measures will include the use of cameras to monitor roadways for infractions and the fast tracking of the Spirit Licenses Act by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. Neika Lewis, CVM News.
Know your numbers. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is on a mission to raise awareness about health and wellness. His latest stop was in Maypen, Clarendon on Friday. Renaldo Adams brings us the details.
Key measurements like body mass index, waist circumference, blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood cholesterol reveal a lot about your well-being. These figures don't just track your health, they help spot risks for non-communicable diseases. During the Clarendon stop of Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton's Know Your Numbers tour on Friday, Medical Officer for the parish, Dr. Kimberly Scarlett Campbell, reminds that knowing your health status sooner is always better.
Know that we have a lot of persons who are walking around who are undiagnosed hypertensives, undiagnosed diabetics, who have high cholesterol they don't know, maybe HIV positive, have syphilis they don't know. So we're using this as a location for persons to come here and get screened and know what they're doing. Because you see, when you find out about your disease very early, it will prevent a lot of the side effects of the disease, the complications.
Residents expressed appreciation for the health initiative.
It is a cost-saving thing because it's very expensive going to the doctor, especially to like the opticians and the dentists. And here, they get all the services free of cost. So it was very good, and I must say a big thank you for all those who have contributed to this occasion.
Because once you do the checks, and sometimes you find out, that's when you find out that you're obese or you have high blood pressure, and then you move on from there with the checkup. But otherwise, if we didn't have this, some persons wouldn't know until they end up in the hospital.
Dr. Tufton urged everyone to take their health more seriously.
We want to really use the opportunity to emphasize to Jamaicans, separate and apart from an event like this, take the time to go to the health centers and know your numbers. Do your annual physical or your annual checkup, as they say, because too many of us are walking around with conditions and are not taking it seriously until we get a stroke or a heart attack, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
The message: get ahead, stay informed, and keep your health in check. Renaldo Adams, CVM News.
We take a break. More news in a moment. Hundreds of residents.
Good and the picture pristine. More content, new features in. So forward, let me show you the print. Station, them a bring HD to your TV. Yeah, for you, have for me. For real, higher image quality, interactivity. Recommendations for your personality. New technology. We never get the first, so we in the top 3. Oh, yeah, me. Can see straight TV screen. And the students check in. Never miss a lesson, cause the audio clean. While listening. Emergency messaging with geo-targeting. One any parish when the storm is coming. More content for highlight we. Future brighty. I'm glad you agree. BCJ them set the scene. Sound so good and the picture pristine. More content, new features in. So forward, let me show you the print. Next Gen TV. Next Gen TV. Jamaica goes to far.
Join us this Sunday, May 19 at 8 p.m. as we rewind the 2023 Gospel Star competition. See the 10 talented finalists vie for the title of Gospel Star 2023. You don't want to miss the rivalry and eliminations each week. That's Gospel Star 2023 Rewind, Sundays at 8 p.m. right here on CVM TV.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Hundreds of residents in Hillshire and Newlands Portmore are expected to benefit from the recent commissioning of water infrastructure, including pumps recently. Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says plans are apace for continued infrastructural development to improve service delivery amid climate change.
A desperate plea for consistent water supply. It came to the ears of local representatives and soon after that of the authorities and government.
I'm very welcoming of this occasion, the commission, the booster pump, because indeed for a while now we have had intermittent supply of water at this side of the constituency. And as you all are aware, there are a number of housing developments that have occurred in this area in the past recent years. And so to have a system that will be more reliable is more than welcome. In that regard, I speak on behalf of the residents of the communities throughout Hillshire to have this. Because it's been a cry for them for a while. And to get to this point is indeed welcome.
Jackson notes this is exactly how the government should function, briskly coming to the aid of the people. He expressed a hope that in coming weeks and years, the National Water Commission will likewise quickly attend to the needs of the residents. It's an initiative that's hoped will lessen the effect of the worsening dry spells and the climatic changes over time.
But we are here in the Fort Hill Estate community within Hillshire. This community was in need of upgrades. The pumping infrastructure behind us is some $5 million. The additional works that would have been done to connect and some additional piping work would have been an additional $5 million. So it's not the size announcements that we normally make on a weekly basis, but it is an important one because ultimately people need to know that they're heard and they need to know that when representation is made, their appropriate allocations follow and that the works of government agencies are indeed, they do follow through and that things improve.
The minister says in the Hillshire area alone, which is a vastly populous space, hundreds will benefit.
Some 400 residences now have water at least 18 hours a day from much improvement. And that's what we want to highlight. Now, I also want to be very clear that I'm particularly concerned about the state of the infrastructure between Burton and Hellshire. And I've raised the matters with MP Jackson, and he's assured me of his support with the course of action that we are contemplating. We do say to residents that in the next quarter we should be able to provide some updates, MP, because we do not intend to go into the next drought season in this area with the particular infrastructural weaknesses that you have.
Renaldo Adams, CVM News.
A look now at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. In Guyana, Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand says with over 3,000 migrant children in Guyana's classrooms, there's heavy focus on integration, a move she insists is in the best interest of the children. Here's HGP TV News.
And as they came in, our policy in Guyana is no school-age child should be denied an education. But as we integrate them into the classrooms, we are crafting programs now to make sure that integration is in the best interest of the children.
The minister added that the ministry has integrated English as a second language in a sensible and practical way that allows the children to learn other subjects better. Manik-Chand highlighted that with there being a language barrier, the ministry decided to better equip migrant children with the tools necessary to write their National Grade 6 Assessment, NGSA. They have ensured the exams are available in a different language.
So we did NGSA, and because we have such a high migrant population, we offer the students who speak or derive from a Spanish-speaking country, Cuba or Venezuela, the ability to write their papers in Spanish.
And in St. Lucia, the Commerce Ministry has been meeting with bakers to get a feel of their issues to better address them. On Thursday, the ministry met with bakers in the south at the Viewfort South Constituency Council office. More from HTS News Force.
The Commerce Ministry remains committed to serving bakers, but not before understanding their needs. The ministry has been holding dialogue with the bakers to gauge their concerns in hopes of enhancing the sector. Commerce Minister Emma Hippolyte and top ministry officials met with the bakers on May 14th at the Finance Administrative Center in Point Seraphine and again on May 16th at the office of the Viewfort Town Council. The discussions focused on the challenges and opportunities facing the baking industry in St. Lucia. The agenda included formalization and standardization of bakeries participating in government subsidy programs, as well as the kind of support the ministry can offer to ensure the growth and stability of the sector.
And on the international scene, CCTV has emerged appearing to show rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs attacking singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016. Here's the BBC. However, viewer discretion is advised.
Cassie Ventura claims she suffered years of abuse in her relationship with P. Diddy, one of the most influential artists in hip-hop. In the CCTV footage, she's seen leaving a hotel room. Sean Combs appears to run after her before carrying out a violent assault. The full tape shows her being kicked as she lies on the ground. After taking her items, next, the rapper seems to be seen throwing an object towards her. The video, obtained by the American news channel CNN, hasn't been independently verified, but lawyers for Cassie Ventura, who's not objected to it being shown, say it confirms P. Diddy's disturbing and predatory behaviour. Last month, homes linked with Sean Combs were raided by police in what they said was an ongoing investigation into sex trafficking. Officers searched properties in Beverly Hills, New York and Miami associated with his production company. Cassie Ventura previously brought a lawsuit against Sean Combs in relation to the incident in the video said to be at a Los Angeles hotel. She settled out of court, but since then several others have come forward accusing him of sexual abuse.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Neika Lewis.
And it's now time for Inspire Jamaica with Curlin Brown.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
A little boy being prodded with a flower in hand could suggest a dress rehearsal for a big role or some big event, but not in this case. It's actually intended for his mother, who says that's the type of love she gets daily from her 3-year-old, who had already given her a small petal tucked behind her ear. This time, though, he laid his gift down, indicating he wanted to get her attention and support to spend a little more time, we found out, with the fish he was enjoying watching with his dad close by before they were called away. Well, that was guilt for the Inspire Jamaica team right there. And so we struck a bargain to allow him that leisure time of 5 minutes more. Little did we know my action would open a total different conversation. The lessons from Melissa Divine Stoddard, who is a social worker, are valuable for the little and for the big people.
For a moment there, you had to stand back and see your child with a stranger, so to speak.
Well, I didn't see my child with a stranger. I saw my child in an environment where I could check in with myself and say my child is safe. So once I was able to check in to ensure my child is safe, I could start grounding. If I had someone with me or I thought he was unsafe, there was no way I could check in with myself or check in with nature. So I can take my shoes off now and I've got to grounding, which is actually a thing. So most times when you feel like exhausted or you feel like the world is on you, especially as a mommy with a child or a parent with a child, you may not have the money to go to a spa or to go do something that's exotic. But you can literally just take your slippers off, take your shoe off, stand on the ground, and literally just ground. And it doesn't have to be some fancy yoga pose. It could just be just grounding.
How does that impact the child now? Because we're talking about the children.
Yes, but if you have a parent who is not grounded or a parent who is frustrated and you're not able to mentally be present with yourself, then you can't be present with your child. And that's where we now have to focus on the mental health of those who are parenting. So you can't have healthy children without healthy parents.
While not every child will have the total support of mom and dad at the same time all the time, the deliberate action of others can widen the circle to reshape the image of a healthy outlook for all children.
Now, what face is this one? Funny. A funny face? Ooh. Wow, so that's your funny face? That's my heart. Whoa, that's your heart? What? Why your heart looks so small? You have a big heart. Tell me about your heart. That's your heart? Whoa, that's a big heart. What's going on in your heart now? It's shaky. It's shaky?
And it can only get better when we continue to allow these minors to acknowledge the rhythms of their hearts through us.
When children are born into a holistic space where they have the support, a mommy, a daddy, grandpa, grandma, good school teachers, just good people in the system who support them and push them on. So when you have people cheerleading you on, it really, even if the structure at home is not as strong economically, but socially, morally, and spiritually, there's strong virtues to grind it, to hold it together. It's like kneading a dumpling, you know? And you need to ensure the flour is a particular way. When it's holding, when that binder is there, and we call the binders the love, the little reinforcement, a grandma who can keep the baby so mommy can go to work, a good care center is close by with loving aunties and uncles who can protect and, preserve the children and engage them while mommy and daddy is at work. So we're not worrying about the other stuff that are traumatic, the abuse and all of that stuff that we could call trauma. We're saying that once children are given love, they're allowed to play, to laugh, to be them little selves,
So with another May comes another opportunity for adults to nurture, anchor, build without limits, giving all children the right to model the better, the best behavior as their minds and bodies develop.
Wherever there's trauma, there's a lack of peace. There's some interruption of the peace. And if peace is interrupted, that means that love is also disturbed.
I am Caroline Brown. Let's continue to inspire Jamaica.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
It's time for another break, but Orville is here with sports. Up next.
just now to say thank you, O King.
It's the National Workers' Week and Labor Day Thanksgiving Church service this Sunday, May 19, 10 a.m. Live from the Morant Bay Parish Church, East Street, St. Thomas. Labor Day 2024, focusing on persons with disabilities, the elderly and vulnerable. Ramp up the access, show that you care. Live right here on CVM TV.
Do you really want to stick with the same old insurer? Taxis, minibuses, coasters.
Your association, Tuds and